All right, I'm just going to turn that down a titch. Welcome everyone. I'll just give everyone a minute or two to grab anything they might need. I have some soothing music playing. If anyone would like to have their own soundtrack, by all means. If anyone needs water or beverage of choice, some of the poses might benefit from having a block or a pillow. They shouldn't be a necessity, but anything that you might help with comfort, especially for our final meditation, I encourage you to grab that stuff now. All right. So another piece before we go in is I'll ask everybody as well to set an intention for the practice tonight. I know there's a bit of stress in the world, so if tonight all you're wanting to do is just relax, by all means set that as your intention. If you'd like to really try and follow with the mindfulness theme today, the theme today is a curious mindset. Please do follow along with that. Or if you're just here for a stretch or whatever your intention might be, just keep that in the back of your mind as we're going through our practice. All right. So at last class, we talked about mindfulness as the intentional paying attention on purpose, non-judgmentally, in the present moment, with that, again, sense of purpose. So each class we're going to be breaking down that definition a little bit more because it's a bit of a mouthful. And we also talked a bit about autopilot last time. And autopilot is that almost exact opposite mindfulness. We're not paying attention, there's no purpose. It's that experience where we're driving home and we can't even remember the drive, but we've ended up there somewhere. So mindfulness is trying to get out of this autopilot. And on that note, we're going to begin with our 3-minute breathing space practice. So hopefully we've gathered all the things that we might need for tonight. And I'll get you to take a comfortable position. You can either lie down in Shavasana or you can stay seated, whatever works for yourself. I'll ask you to get into that position now. And we'll do our 3-minute breathing space. All right. So for this practice, because it is a bit of a quicker one and an intentional one, we want to start with that definite posture. So whether we're lying down or sitting up, we want to try and have our back erect, but not stiff. Dignified, just letting our bodies really express the sense of being present and awake. So it's comfortable for yourself. You can close your eyes. The first step is being aware, really aware of what is going on with you right now. So becoming aware of what thoughts might be going through your mind, just noting them as mental events. And then maybe we note any feelings that might be around at the moment. And even turning towards any sense of discomfort or unpleasant feelings. Not trying to push them away or shut them out. We're just acknowledging them, saying perhaps, here you are. That is how it is right now. And any sensations in the body. Just noting any sensation of tension, holding, whatever it might be, we're just bringing awareness to them. Simply noting, that is how it is right now. So we have a sense of what is going on with us right now in this moment. And we've stepped out of automatic pilot. The second step is to collect our awareness by focusing on a single object, the movements of our breath. So we really gather ourselves, focusing attention in the movements of our abdomen. Just spending a moment or two noticing the movement. The abdominal wall rises and falls with the breath, moment by moment, breath by breath, as best we can. So we know when our breath is moving in and when our breath is moving out. Binding our awareness to those patterns of movement, and gathering ourselves and using the anchor of the breath to really be present. And now as a third step, having gathered ourselves to some extent, we allow our awareness to expand. So as well as being aware of the breath, we also include a sense of the body as a whole. And this might include any sensation, tightness, relating to holding in our shoulders, our neck, our back, or our face. And following the breath as if the whole body is breathing, holding it all in a slightly softer and more spacious awareness. And taking a moment, following that whole body breath, and really being present. And I'll speak a bit more about mindfulness as a way of living, not just as a set of techniques. So within the practice, we try to bring these certain attitudes to different parts of our day. And so today we're going to be talking about curiosity as one of those attitudes. And I have to admit, probably one of my favorite, because I'm a bit of a mindfulness nerd. So to be curious is to have that desire to know or learn, right? And it can be used as a way to inquire into our experiences. So mindfulness, of course, begins with awareness and acknowledging that something is here, something is present, right? So as we go through our practice today, we're going to try and bring that awareness with that curious mindset and explore throughout different positions, different poses. And we might learn some things about ourselves, our bodies, our experiences as we do this in this way. We might notice the more subtle ways our perspective shifts. We might ask ourselves, what am I attending to in this moment? Am I attending to thought, to feeling? Maybe I ask myself if I feel any sensation and where I feel that sensation and how it changes as I move through the poses. How would I describe those sensations? Maybe even we describe those sensations with a color or a shape, as creative as we want to. But always asking yourselves those questions. You can think of almost like a little kid when they're exploring their world and they're very curious. They're always asking questions and they're not judging things as good or bad. They're just curious, wanting to know more. So curiosity allows us to begin to turn towards the entirety of our experience, moving from avoidance to approach, and this includes things that we may not like. And one could say that curiosity is the antidote to judgment of ourselves, others, experience, and therefore alleviates discontent. And so if you choose, as we move on to the movement portion of our practice, if you choose, try to keep this curious mindset. All right. So that being said, If you're not already in a Shavasana, I'll ask you to lie down on our mats. Sit long. Just spend a moment again connecting with the breath. And often it's helpful, I find, to put our hands on our belly, because when we're breathing, we want to make sure we're breathing deep into the belly and not into our chest. And that calms down our nervous system when we take our breaths in that way. So let's hug our knees in. And if we choose, we can take a little bit of movement. I find as soon as my knees are in, I start to rock. Just my habituation, I guess. And then we'll hug in our right knee, and we can either plant the left or extend it long. And again, we can hug the knee tight. We can maybe get a bit of movement. Just waking up the joints. And as with our theme for the day, really noticing what we're feeling. Maybe we feel it in our hip flexors or in the upper leg. Just noticing and having that curious look at what we're experiencing. So if we haven't already, we're going to plant the left foot and then cross the right ankle over top for supine pigeon. And we might just stay here tonight. That's perfectly fine if that's comfortable for you. Or if we want a little bit more of a stretch, if that's what we're feeling, we can lift up that left leg and maybe thread our arms through to hug the back of the thigh. And we'll just hold this pose in whatever variation for a moment or so. Maybe we roll our foot, and if you're like myself, we hear those Rice Krispies crackling away. And paying attention to our breath. Paying attention to what we're experiencing in our body and where we're experiencing it. Maybe if we notice tension, we breathe deep into it. Maybe try to find a little relaxation, or maybe a little more of a deeper stretch. And we'll take one or two more breaths here. And whenever you're ready, you can release the left leg if it's been raised, plant the foot, and then we're just going to press gently into that left foot and shimmy your hips over to the right, just gently. And we're going to come into a twist by dropping that right foot to the left. So we kind of feel a bit like a pretzel in this one, but try to keep both shoulders planted. And if you're noticing discomfort, then by all means, please shift positions to find something that's more comfortable for you. It could be that you choose to just place your knee on top for a different form of the twist, or keep the foot planted, whichever you choose. And again, we'll spend a few moments here just exploring any sensation in the body. Maybe doing a brief scan as we did last class. Noticing maybe where it feels tighter or maybe where it feels more relaxed. Noticing where you choose to put our hands. We could have had them lying in this kind of T shape. Maybe we have them flipped upwards. Just noticing where we've chosen to place them. Breathing nice and deep. If you're anything like myself, you'll notice our shoulders are constantly shrugged to our ears, so maybe purposely with intention, trying to bring them down. Maybe breathing some relaxation into them, if we choose. And settling into our twist. And on the next inhale, if we're ready, we can unwind, we shimmy over a little bit, and hug our knees back into our chest. And we'll just take a moment here, you can plant the feet, and just spend this moment noticing any changes in body sensation, noticing maybe there's tingling, maybe there's temperature sensations, whatever it may be. Try to note the changes after we've done our twist and our supine pigeon. And for what we do to one side, we of course have to do to the other. So we'll hug in our opposite knee now, our left knee. And again, you can extend the other leg long if that's a bit of a better stretch for you. It's whatever you choose. Whatever your body is wanting this evening. Here we get a little bit of movement in, getting into the hip. Don't get immediately still. Noting any differences in the sides of the body. Often one side is tighter or looser than the other. And we're not judging any of these things as good or bad, we're just noting them. And if you haven't already, let's plant that foot and cross the left ankle over the right thigh for supine pigeon. And of course we could stay here today, or we might lift that right foot and thread our arms through to the back of the thigh. Again, always breathing deep into the belly. And bringing that intentional mindset to where we're exploring. Again, it could be tightness in the hip, the back of the leg, shoulders. And we could try to breathe some relaxation into those points. And oftentimes when we're doing practices and mindfulness practices, we'll notice our thoughts like to try and take us away from what we're trying to focus on, and that's perfectly normal. And that's what minds do. So when this happens, we might choose to just note where our brain is trying to take us to, and then gently redirect our attention back to the practice. And on the next exhale, we can again plant that foot and maybe shimmying our hips over a little bit to the left. We're going to go into a twist on the opposite side, so gently bringing down that left foot onto the ground. Again, shimmy around to what's comfortable. We shouldn't have any pinching or feelings of pain in these poses. Perhaps discomfort, but not to the point of pain. And again, if you choose, you can also have the knees stacked or keep that foot planted. Breathing into the twist. Twists are so good for our body, good for our spine, our digestion. Another one of my favorite poses. So again, we're noting differences in sides of poses. Sometimes we note when our bodies maybe have an urge to do something, like an itch to scratch. And it can be a bit of a mindfulness practice to just intentionally hold off on that urge. Or maybe we choose to scratch that itch, but again, we're doing it with intention and purpose. Also be curious about that itch, which is tricky to do, as I've tried, but again, it's bringing that almost childlike mindset to our experiences. So as always, breathing deep into the belly and long on the exhale. Again, trying to not judge our poses as good or bad. Our bodies are doing tonight what they have to offer. Again, just exploring, just being curious about our practice. And when you're ready, let's breathe in and come out of our twist. Taking movement as needed. I always like to have my knees in. Rock back and forth if you want, or maybe you stay still, whichever you prefer. And for our next piece here, you can either plant your feet down or you can extend the legs, whichever is more comfortable. I'm going to plant my feet for this one. Just a very simple breathing exercise we're going to try next. So you can choose to have your eyes closed or open. But on the next inhale, again, deep into the belly, we're going to rise our arms up as we to the top. Pause for a moment. And then on the exhale, we bring them back down. That again. Nice and long. Matching our arms to the inhale. Up overhead. Pause. And then slow on the exhale. Feeling the breath leave the body, the deflation of the abdomen. So we'll do this another 2 times, just at our own pace. Whenever you're ready, breathing in. And out. See how slow you can do this for the next one. Very intentional. We'll breathe in. And out. Again, we'll take a moment just to find stillness, noticing any change maybe not noticing anything particular at all. That's fine. And maybe we'll take another deep belly breath in and out. And however you choose, we'll come to a seated position. So maybe we roll to our side and push ourselves up. Again, hearing those cracks. Rice Krispies are going. Very relatable. All right. So now that we're in a seated position, we're going to do some Sufi Circles, which is something I learned from a meditation teacher that I quite love. They're really great for warming up our hips and lower back and upper back, and I find them very relaxing and meditative. Again, very much going along with our theme of a curious mindset today. So we're sitting up, nice and tall. We're making sure our shoulders again aren't shrugged up to our ears, and almost as if we have a string pulling from the crown of our head up. And for our Sufi Circles, we'll have our hands just relaxed gently on our knees, our thigh. And with our inhale, we're going to start by opening the chest and coming forward, rounding out. And then on the exhale, we're going to round the back, come around. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale. So we can choose to take very wide circle, or maybe they're a little more narrow. Whatever you choose, just do it with intention. Again, matching that breath with our movements. And at the top, we're going to pause, and then we're going to go the opposite direction. Because in yoga, what we do to one side, we always need to make sure we do to the other. Rounding back. We'll do a couple more breaths. Trying to note all those little sensations hitting our seat, our legs, our torso, shoulders, even head and neck. And then we'll come to stillness. And once again, sit up nice and tall. And just take a moment again in stillness, noticing any changes. I always note a bit of a tingling after I do things like this in different parts of the body. And just ask questions of it. So we're going to do some shoulder shrugs next, because quite frankly I could use them and I want to. So we'll just do a couple circles. And definitely noticing some Rice Krispies there. And same with the Sufi Circles. You might have really big or really small. And just noting what our preference is. And then let's switch. Opposite direction. And usually one direction feels a little bit more uncomfortable than the other. We just get used to certain things. Autopilot. And then we're going to take a nice inhale. and exhale. And then on the next inhale, we're going to shrug our shoulders up, tight, tight, hold them up to our ears, tight, hold, and then release. So let's do that one again. So again, on the inhale, we bring our shoulders up, tight, tight, tight. Hold, pause, release. That progressive muscle relaxation practice is excellent for, especially for sitting at a computer all day like myself. Right. And so for the next piece, we're going to extend our right arm out to the side and just gently bend the head to the left. We can gently place the hand on the head, very gently. We're not pulling or tugging, it's just for that little extra stretch if we choose. Just really getting into that neck. Again, noticing if there's tightness. Are you noticing the quality of the tightness if it's present for you? So I'd be impressed if it wasn't. There's a lot of people with tense necks these days and shoulders. Right. And let's release that one. Just take a moment. Extend the other arm out, do the opposite side. Give that gentle hand, very gentle. You often, like I say, favor one side more than the other. If we have bags or purses that are slung over one shoulder, it can make an impact, of course. Keeping with the breath. And when we're ready, we can release. Taking a moment, maybe taking any movement in the shoulders or neck we wish. Let's do one more deep belly breath seated before we move on to tabletop. So one more deep into the belly and exhale. All right, so we'll come up to a tabletop position, and if we need something on under our knees, like an extra blanket or a mat or anything like that, or doubling up, please do. I know my knees are very sensitive, partially hence this lovely crisscross. My knees are often not happen with me. We'll come into our tabletop, so on all fours. Try to keep the weight even in all fours. And we're going to start with our cat-cows. So we're going to start by dropping the belly, gently directing the gaze up. So we are a sway-backed cow, hence the name. And then we're going to round the back up like an angry cat, dropping the gaze, curving the spine to the ceiling. So let's once again, we'll come into our cow, gently looking up, dropping the belly, getting into that spine, and then rounding the back up. So we'll do 2 or 3 of these within your own breath. Again, noticing where your body might be holding. Breathing nice and deep as we drop the belly. My voice. And nice and deep exhale, round the back. I'm gonna do one more because my body wants to. And So from here, we're going to move into a child's pose, and there's different variations for child's pose, so whichever is comfortable for you. We're going to slide the arms up and slowly sink back onto our knees. So we can have our knees together for this one, or if it's more comfortable, we can have the knees apart. We can also, and we won't be here for too long, but you can also place a mat or a blanket underneath the forehead if you can't come all the way down. All are perfectly fine. Find whatever position works best for you and your body. So we'll come down into a child's pose. We'll take a couple deep breaths here. On the exhale, if we can sink a little deeper into the pose. Noticing where our bodies is feeling this one. Maybe in our shoulders or our arms. Feet, knees, thighs. Just exploring, again, with that curious and interested mindset. And on the next exhale, we're going to gently reach for the top left corner of the mat. Just as far as you want to take it, just so you get a nice stretch into that side. Nice and long in the right. Maybe feeling the rib cage expand into the arm, back. And as with any pose, if we can or if we choose to on the exhale, maybe we try to go a little bit deeper. Never to the point of pinching or pain. Just to get a good deep stretch. And the opportunity to really explore what happens when maybe we go a bit deeper. And if this is uncomfortable in any way, again, you can come out if you'd like. You can find any sort of variations. And on the inhale, we'll come back to center. Pause for just a moment. And then exhale to the opposite side. In mindfulness, often relaxation is a wonderful byproduct, but it's not necessarily the intent. And so again, while we don't want any pain or pinching, we might feel a discomfort, and we're not necessarily trying to avoid that discomfort, because avoidance generally tends to enhance it, ironically. Breathing into sensation. And then whenever we're ready, we can slowly shift back to center. Taking a nice in-breath. And out. And you can choose to stay in this pose for the moment, or you can choose to come up. I'm going to just briefly go through the next mini flow we're going to do. We'll call it a child's pose Cobra flow, but you don't have to remember that by any means. So with this one, we're going to start in our child's pose, and I'm going to do it slow and along with the breath so you can follow along as best you can. And then we'll do it in unison to our breath on our own for a few times. So again, we'll take a nice breath in and exhale into our child's pose. I'm just going to shift down on the mat a bit. So on the next inhale, we're going to come back up into our tabletop, but we're going to leave our hands a little bit farther ahead as we pause at the top. And then on the exhale, we're going to come down into the mat, keeping the shoulders pressed in, all the way down. And then as we inhale, we're going to look up into a cobra. We don't want to rely on our hands for this one. We're just coming up to the point of stretch. Gaze is gently directed up. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale up to our tabletop. Pause for the moment. Exhale into our child's pose. So we'll again inhale into our tabletop. Exhale down onto the mat. Inhale, bring our gaze up, open the chest, Cobra. Exhale, once again, drop the gaze. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. So I'm going to do that one 2 more times, so you can do it with myself, or you can do it along with your own breath, whatever your choice is. So again, inhale gently up to tabletop. Exhale down. Inhale, bring the gaze up, shoulders tucked in, nice and strong in the back legs. Exhale down. Inhale up to tabletop. And exhale, child's pose. Inhale up to tabletop. Exhale all the way down. Just inhale, bring the gaze up. Exhale down. Inhale up to tabletop. And exhale down to child's pose. So we'll stay again in child's pose for a moment. Again, just doing our curious exploration of sensation in a mindful way. Noting if our thoughts want to take us elsewhere, we just gently direct them back. And when you're ready, you can come back up to tabletop. Just adjust my shirt. For our last brief flow before we do our meditation. So for this one, again, we're starting in that tabletop. It can be helpful to have a pillow or something handy, just so we're going to be resting our head down. But we're going to start by raising up our arm, reaching forward. And then on the exhale, we're going to bring the arm down, thread it through all the way down until our ear touches the ground. And we can experiment with this left hand. You know, maybe we have it a little farther away, maybe a little closer, to a point of comfort where it's stabilizing but not completely reliant upon. And again, if we need a cushion, anything under the head, that's totally fine. We just go to the point where there may be a touch of discomfort but no pain to get a really good stretch. Again, maybe paying attention to the shoulders, arms, really anywhere in the body. This pose really does influence all parts. Deep belly breath in and out. Deep belly breath in and out. And we'll take some movement on the next breath in. So breathing in, we're going to bring the arm up, 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 all the way up to the ceiling gently. Another bit of a twist. Maybe we exhale here. Breathe in. And on the exhale, bring it back down. Slide underneath gently, slowly. Good. And then on the next breath in, we'll rise up again. So breathing in. Pause for the moment and exhale. Good. And breathing in, let's come back up to tabletop. Maybe just taking a moment, any movement you want after that one. Seeing how the body reacts. And of course, we'll do the other side. So let's extend the left leg, or arm out. And when we're ready, we'll thread it down underneath, threading the needle. So our ear touches the ground. Maybe experimenting with this other hand positioning, going with what's comfortable. Taking some breaths. Noting quality of sensation. It can be interesting even to, as I mentioned, describe sensation with a color or shape. You can find creative ways to explore these poses and how our body reacts. So let's take a nice big inhale. Rise up, up, up. All the way up. Oops, sorry, don't move your feet. And exhale down. Take a breath here. And again, we'll inhale all the way up. Nice stretch. And exhale. Holding for a moment. And then on the next inhale, we'll come back up to tabletop. Good. And from here, we're going to sink back onto our knees. And then maybe we shift to our seat, our neutral position. Just taking a moment to explore what our body is telling us at this time after those poses. And for our final part of tonight, you can either choose to do our final meditation in the seated if that's more comfortable. Maybe we can put a block under your seat if you'd like, or of course you could take Shavasana and lay down. So I'll give you a moment if that's what you choose to maybe put some pillows under the knees or under the head or a blanket. Whatever is most comfortable for yourself. I'll get you to take that pose now. And tonight we're going to do a forest visualization meditation. It's a lovely one. And again, my hope is that the purpose of this, of course, is relaxation specifically with this, but We can also take that curious mindset as we go through this. So as you've found that comfortable position, allow your body to begin to relax as you start to create a picture in your mind. So imagine yourself walking on a path through a forest. The path is soft beneath your shoes. You see a mixture of soil, fallen leaves, pine needles, moss. And as you walk, your body relaxes, your mind clears more and more with each step you take. So take a deep breath in, breathe in the fresh mountain air, filling your lungs completely. Exhale. Breathe out all of the air and feeling refreshed. And we'll take another deep breath in and then breathe out completely. Letting your body relax even further. And continue to breathe slow and deep as you walk through the forest and continue the visualization. So we're exploring the scene in front of us again with that curiosity, and maybe we notice that the air around us is cool but comfortable. Maybe we notice sun filtering through the trees. Maybe we see dappled patterns on the ground before you. And we listen to the sounds of the forest. Maybe you hear birds singing. You hear a gentle breeze blowing. And the leaves on the trees shift and sway in that soft wind. And as you explore all around you, your body relaxes more and more as you walk. Count your steps and breathe in unison with your strides. So we're breathing in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2. Breathe in for 4, 3, 2. Hold. 3, 2. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue to breathe like this, slow and deep. Trying to go long on the exhale as you become more and more relaxed. And maybe your arms swing in rhythm with your steps. And maybe they become loose, limp. Feel your back relaxing as your spine lengthens, muscles relax. And feel the tension leave the body as you admire all the scenery around you. Your legs and lower body relax as well. You feel free. And as you continue to walk through the forest, you might begin to climb up a slight incline, but you easily tread along, maybe noticing smooth rocks on the path. The breeze continues to blow, but you are sheltered on the path and the air around you is calm. And again, we bring that curiosity, just noting what is around with that It's childlike wonder. Maybe you see small saplings growing at the side of the path. Maybe you notice leaves on the tree or different shades of green. Some might be a delicate light green, and some might be a deep, dark, true forest green. And the forest floor is thick with green moss. And picture the variety of trees around you, almost as if you'd never seen this forest before. Bringing that open mindset. And some might have smooth white bark, others might be darker. And you admire the rough brown bark of pine trees. Maybe you enjoy that fresh pine scent. And as you take in your next deep breath, maybe you smell the forest around you. The air might be fresh with the scent of trees, soil, mountain streams. You might hear the sound of water faintly in the distance, and the babbling of a creek. And you continue to walk through the forest, being aware and intently gazing at your surroundings. And you're gaining elevation and getting closer to the sound of the stream. Continue to enjoy the forest around you and enjoy the forest visualization. And as you near the top of the mountain, you hear the stream. It's very close now. The path curves up ahead and you see sunlight. And as you round the corner, you hear water. You see a clearing in the trees up ahead. And a beautiful lookout point awaits. And you're growing somewhat tired from your journey, perhaps. And maybe your body has a sense of feeling pleasantly tired and heavy. Imagine yourself walking towards the clearing in the stream. And stepping stones make an easy path across towards the edge of the mountain. And up ahead is a large, smooth rock, almost like a chair, waiting for you to rest. And it is placed perfectly high up on this beautiful vantage point. You might choose to sit or lie on the rock, and it is very comfortable. The sun shines down on you. And looking around, take a moment to see the mountains in the distance, noticing their peaks. So taking another moment to again notice the clearing around you, any rocks, trees, grass, wildflowers. Feel the sun warming your body as you relax on the rock, and really enjoy and experience the majestic landscape that's all around you. Your body might feel very warm, might feel pleasantly heavy. You breathe in relaxation and calmness and peace, enjoying all the sights and sounds and smells of the forest around. And taking another moment just to truly experience the forest visualization. Basking in the sun. Having a sense of peace and calm. And whenever you're ready, you can allow your eyes to open if they're closed, or you can choose to remain in your position in relaxation for as long as you wish as our practice ends. I want to say thank you for all who joined us tonight, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any feedback, please do let me know. Otherwise, have an excellent evening. Namaste.